Listen, they hid our history on purpose, but we're bringing the truth back, loud and clear.
The white population is a tiny minority population. It is also a genetic recessive population in terms of skin coloration. And so I looked at racism as behavior that evolved when this minority population that was genetic recessive found itself on a planet in which the vast majority of the people are not only the numerical majority, but they are genetically dominant and could potentially cause white genetic annihilation. If the white population consciously or subconsciously desired to survive genetically, that would require that the white population hold in oppression all of the non-white people on the planet. Black, brown, red, and yellow people. Now, of all of the non-white people, black people have the greatest genetic potential to cause white genetic annihilation.
Because the white man in America, he's saying, I'm tired of helping these black people, let them kill each other.
Let me ask you something, okay? Hold on just a second. I've let you...
Guys, so I've really worked my ass off to find this clip for you. Therefore, I'd really appreciate a like or a share on this video. Now, let me bring you up to speed real quick. We are looking at a debate hosted by Ted Koppel. He's a media personality, a very famous one. This guy here. The idea was to host members of the Republican Bush administration to tackle problems faced by the black community, but they left 30 minutes in, and people are really mad.
Mr. Koppel, my question is to the Bush administration, why have they not stayed for this entire program to listen to this
And I
community?
gave you the answer, and if you don't like it, I'm afraid I can't help you with it. Mr. Walters?
Towards the end, Ted Koppel brings the topic of drug dealing and asks why there's a high incarceration, particularly for that crime, among the black community. So, for the remainder of this heated debate, these three people here will take over and steal the show for the rest of the topic, with Dr. Francis giving out some uncomfortable truths that will shock majority white viewers watching from home, and that will receive a standing ovation. Take a look. Louis Spock.
Hold on now. Let me just ask you a question.
Yes.
You're familiar with the drug bust that went down about 10 days ago, the organization we've been talking about all evening long, Rayful Edmonds' organization.
Yes.
The drugs came from Los Angeles, from the Crips gang. It's a black gang.
You know something? Let me tell you something. This is how it works. You go over there, you get your airplanes, you go over to these other countries, you bring drugs back, you put them into these black neighborhoods. You understand me? People don't, let me tell you something. You know some of your biggest drug dealers in America sitting right up in New York on Wall Street?
Right.
Look at the night of the base says public enemy.
See, don't try to put the blame on all black people. You know, that's the statistic, that's the lie. See,
Look at the video.
Just statistics in America is lying on black folks all the time.
Thank you.
You know what? We don't own airplanes, buses, trains, none of that stuff. You know what? The U.S. government plays a great big part, and it's called genocide in America, and that's what it's about.
Listen to public enemy.
Yes, ma'am. Now, hold on just a second. If we could just hear from this lady.
I'm a psychiatrist.
Hold on just a second. If we could get the mic close enough to you. You got to understand, we've got a very large hall here, and it's difficult sometimes to get the microphone to folks. Yes, ma'am.
I am a psychiatrist, a general psychiatrist and child psychiatrist here in Washington. And I'm disturbed that the program has gone on for such a long time, talking at the level
of the symptom and not talking about the disease itself, but I give you credit because you started out the program talking about the Kerner Commission report. And that was 20 years ago, and President Johnson's report on violence, no less, that the #1 cause of violence was racism. And racism is the major problem in this area of the world. It's the major problem on the planet. And yet we have a perfect example in microcosm right here on this program, how we have high government officials who do know, are supposed to know about what's going on, but there was steadfast avoidance of this most critical issue. And as a psychiatrist, I do know that people often avoid, truth is painful. And we don't like to talk about racism. It reminds me of Nazi Germany because people didn't like to talk about anti-Semitism. Freud couldn't talk about anti-Semitism. So 6 million people who were considered not to be white people, the term Semite means mulatto, and those people were removed because it was a white supremacy system, it was racism, and there was a subconscious attitude about destroying and removing these people.
I'll tell you what, let's take a break. I'm going to come back to you because I'd like to have you explain. Doctor, we wanted to get back to you because you were talking about, and so many people here this evening have spoken about racism, genocide, plans, plots that the white community is in effect trying to eradicate the black community. And I wonder if you would try as best you can to simplify that to an audience out there that is largely white, that is watching, that I must tell you is probably surprised, if not shocked, to hear it put in such extreme terms.
Well, let me say this, that 6 million Jews were killed, and it was a plan to kill them. There was a Wannsee conference in Germany where officials sat down at a conference table and planned to kill 11 million. The Semites of the Jewish religion did not believe that anybody would do that to them. And when people began to talk about something is being planned to destroy us, I suppose then also that people said, oh, that's a conspiracy, nobody would do that.
Are you seriously suggesting that there is a comparable plan in the United States today? Are you really?
See, wait a minute. We have to see the thing that we're not doing and the thing that we are constantly avoiding is talking about racism. Now, let me tell you what I understand racism to be. Racism is a behavior system that is organized because white people are a minority on the planet. They are a tiny minority of the world's people. The black, brown, red, and yellow people are the world majority. That's right. Not only that, white people are genetic recessive in terms of skin coloration. You see somebody like whose skin is white, if they have sexual relations with a black person, the product is colored. And there is the fear of white genetic annihilation. It existed in Europe, it existed in Germany, it exists here today. And this is why people, it's written about in the Washington Post, in the New York Times, in the Washington Times, when there are discussions that go on like this by year 2080. The majority people in this area of the world are going to be the blacks, the Hispanics, and the Asians. Oh my, we must do something about it.
Mr. Koppel.
Now, you see, it's the same discussion that goes on in South Africa.
Let this gentleman respond.
But let me just finish this quickly, and then I'll say.
You've had a good long run, but so.
Let me just say this: that if we understand the white fear of genetic annihilation, which was why Willie Horton could be used as a very profound symbol by the Republican Party to win its election, then we will understand what is happening to the black male in this society. The black male is the threat to white genetic annihilation. And so he is profoundly attacked in this society. And if we begin to understand that, we understand what happens to the black family. If you remove the father, then the son is wandering around confused, doesn't know what to do, will get together in a gang, and ends up being depressed, getting on drugs, and going to prison. And in the United States, in Washington, D.C., I believe we have the second highest incarceration rate, second only to South Africa. And so in South Africa, you have black men in the work camps, and the women on the Bantu stands, and here we have the black men in prison and the women in the projects, and the male children going unfathered. Now, I say that racism is responsible.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Mr. Koppel. Mr. Koppel, what Dr. Wesley was saying, I absolutely agree with. My name is Bernard Demchek, and I'm with Reverend Jesse Jackson and National Rainbow Coalition. I want to bring her point down to a very specific happening right here tonight. This entire format of this program from its inception was racist. This program started off for 1 hour of national primetime TV, and I'm going to make my comment and ask a question to the Bush administration. National primetime TV from 10 to 11 o'clock at night, talking about and watching black people kill black people in Washington, D.C. That's the way it started. After the first hour, then we had 1/2 hour of the Secretary and Mr. Bennett talking about their ideas and their program. And then for the next 1/2 hour, you had various people that were going to present a very logical kind of statistical argument about this problem. And only after the audience got frustrated did the audience begin to say the real problem in this country is racism. So the format of this program has begun. Now, I want to make that point and raise this question to the Bush administration. Why, Mr. Koppel, if this community of the finest, most intelligent black African Americans in this nation in Washington, D.C., from our top leadership to these community organizers are here, this is Washington, D.C., if we're willing to stay here till 6 o'clock in the morning to deal with this problem, why did Mr. Bennett and Mr. Kemp and the rest of the Bush administration leave at 12 o'clock?
Tell you what.
That, Mr. Koppel, Mr. Koppel, my question, very quickly.
Now, wait a second. Hold on just a second.
Mr. Koppel is my question because
well, then permit me to answer your question. If you're just asking questions,
you're very good in cutting people off.
If you're just asking questions, if you're simply asking questions for the purpose,
why did they leave? I'm asking the Bush administration.
Well,
why
how about letting me answer the question, because I'm the one who invited them, and both of them made it very clear to me that this was a very difficult evening for them to come. Hold on.
We're dying in this community. That's how difficult it is for us.
I understand. I was the one who said, if you can even come for half an hour, I would appreciate it. Now, there are plenty of raps that you can make against the Bush administration if you want to. That's one you'll have to make on me. Now, the beginning of the program, you talked about it. I'm sorry, you must have been watching another program. I had a great deal to do with putting this program together, and I can tell you the first 5 minutes of the program dealt with young black people killing black people. And the rest of the program dealt with black people in the community coping and helping one another. And the third part of the program dealt with racism. Now, I don't know what you were watching, but you weren't watching the program I put together.
That sums it up for this video. What do you guys think? Share thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. Let's have a proper discussion about this without having me impose my opinions and ideas on this matter. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, so that the YouTube algorithm can know that this video was so much interesting and share it far wide to more avid viewers just like you. Subscribe and click the notification bell if this is your first time watching these videos, and so that you can be notified as soon as we make a new upload on videos just like this. My name is Louis. Until next time, peace out.
If there is a country that has committed unspeakable atrocities in the world, it is the United States of America. They don't care. They don't care for human beings. 57 years ago, when Japan was retreating on all fronts, they decided to drop the atom bomb in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Killed a lot of innocent people who are still suffering from the effects of those bombs. Those bombs were not aimed against the Japanese. They were aimed against the Soviet Union to say, look, this is the power that we have. If you dare oppose what we do, this is what is going to happen to you. Because they are so arrogant, they decided to kill innocent people in Japan. Who are they now to pretend that they are the policemen of the world?
What if I told you there once was a Bible edited on purpose? Not to teach freedom, but to teach obedience. What? Stay with me, because this hidden story will change how you see religion and power. In 1807, British missionaries published a special version of the Bible called Parts of the Holy Bible, selected for the use of the Negro slaves, what history now calls the Slave Bible. It wasn't created for salvation, it was created for control. This version didn't just trim a few verses, it cut out about 90% of the Old Testament and half of the New Testament. Gone were stories of liberation, like the book of Exodus, where God frees enslaved people from bondage. Missing were verses promising equality, where Scripture says there is neither slave nor free. Instead, the pages that remained emphasized obedience and submission to masters, the exact mindset slaveholders wanted. This wasn't accidental editing. It was intentional censorship of hope, justice, and liberation. Missionaries and slaveholders feared rebellion, especially after enslaved people proved they could fight for freedom, like in Haiti's Revolution. Today, only 3 copies of the Slave Bible are known to survive. They stripped away liberation. They rewrote Scripture, not to uplift people, but to keep them obedient. So why didn't they teach us about a Bible edited to control black minds? And is this the first time you're hearing about the Slave Bible? Comment Slave Bible if you want this taught in school. Share this video so this truth can't stay buried. Follow for the black history they never wanted you to discover.
You do know that if God got his hands on somebody and somebody got their eyes and their heart on God, you can't play with that person. You do know that's equivalent to playing with God, right? So you gotta know who you playing with. I promise you, you can't just go around just acting like this person ain't this or that. All right, go ahead and watch.
How you feel about Obama being the president? That's not an accomplishment.
Obama had a white mama. Who told you he was black?
Oh, so he ain't black?
Your daddy don't make you black. Your mindset do.
Okay.
So if you're black and you're raised with a white family, do you think black?
Nah.
So how you gonna be black? How you gonna be black? You got a white grandmama, a white mama, and a white racist grandfather, and you're not raised with black people. So you think Obama black? He wasn't raised with black people. So how did he learn to be black? He never got to meet his African daddy side of the family. He been with white people all his life. Don't you know you can put a baby with wolves and the baby will grow up thinking it's a wolf? Come on now. Y'all think Obama was black because they gave y'all a skin color. Just like this Indian woman whose daddy's Jamaican, whose daddy left them when she was a baby. She's Indian. So your mind said, I think, therefore I am. So whatever you think, that's what you are. Obama never claimed black. Obama dated white women all throughout his life until he started getting into politics. And the only reason he started dating Michelle because it was going to help him in politics. She found the little mixed breed white boy and she made him black. Because she from the south side of Chicago. So nigga, he didn't become black till he met his wife. That's why he was picked to be president. America would never put a slave baby in the White House. Never. A full black American would never sit in the seat of commander-in-chief because he's always looked upon as a slave.
2026 is not just another year for Africa. It's a reset. Here are 5 truths Africa is reclaiming in 2026 truths that were buried, mocked, and erased. Truth 1, Africa was never discovered in 2026. More people finally accept this. Africa didn't need to be discovered. It was already trading, building, governing, and teaching, while others were still figuring themselves out. Truth 2, Africa's history did not start with slavery. Before chains, there were crowns. Before plantations, there were universities. Before colonization, there were laws, medicine, astronomy, and empires. 2026 is the year this truth becomes mainstream. Truth 3, African spirituality was not primitive. Africa didn't worship nothing. It studied nature, energy, ancestors, balance, and order. Many modern religions borrowed from what Africa already knew. In 2026, Africans stop apologizing for their spirituality. Truth 4, Africa's poverty is not natural. Africa is not poor. It was made poor by extraction, borders, corruption, and silence. 2026 is the year more Africans stop blaming themselves and start asking the right questions. Truth 5, Africa's future is not behind it. The biggest lie was that Africa's greatness is only in the past. No, Africa is rising digitally, culturally, economically, and mentally. 2026 is the year Africa stops waiting for permission. This is not rebellion. This is remembrance. Follow Dark Africa Files, because in 2026, Africa tells its own story.
Prince Edward County, Virginia, 1959. One county in America chose no education at all, rather than educate black children. After the Supreme Court ruled segregation illegal, this county made a decision that shocked the nation. Instead of integrating its public schools, leaders shut them down completely. Not for a protest, not for a week, for 5 full years. They said it openly. If black children learned beside white children then no children would learn at all. Overnight, school doors were locked, classrooms went silent. Black children were left with nothing. Here's the part they don't teach you. White children still went to school. Private, whites-only academies appeared almost instantly, funded through public money, tax credits, and state support. White students kept learning. Black students were abandoned. From 1959 to 1964, black children in Prince Edward County received no public education. Some studied in church basements, some were sent away to live with relatives. Many received none at all. Children lost years of reading, years of math, years of opportunity, not because they couldn't learn, but because America refused to teach them. This wasn't a mistake, it was policy. Only after national outrage and Supreme Court intervention were the schools forced to reopen, 5 years too late for many. So when someone says segregation wasn't that bad, remember this. America once chose ignorance over equality. Share this so this truth isn't buried again. Comment 5 stolen years if this shocked you, and follow for the history they never taught you.
So it wasn't just Tulsa. Tulsa is just one of many cities, and I'm going to give you a list in this video, that was destroyed, whether it be bombed, set on fire, flooded out, because white people were afraid of black progression. Rosewood, Florida is one. Rosewood was demolished because a white woman claimed to have been raped by a black man, which is a common occurrence that you'll notice throughout black history, but most times it's false. 5 Points District in Lower Manhattan. Speaking of New York, Seneca Village, Oscarville, small neighborhoods in southeast and southwest Atlanta. Portsmouth, Ohio in 1831, they expelled all of their black citizens. Salina, Tennessee, Comanche County, Texas, Lexington and Blackwell, Oklahoma. While I'm on the topic of Oklahoma, Oklahoma had some 50 black towns. Black Wall Street was not just Tulsa, it was all over Oklahoma. Quick little reminder for anybody new here, I teach black history, go ahead and give me a follow. Also, I have a nonprofit dedicated to keeping black history in our schools because it is under attack. They're trying to get it out of our schools and change the course of what we know to be black history today for future generations. My nonprofit is going to be employing students from the local HBCU here in Atlanta. It's based in Atlanta, but I plan on doing this everywhere. But we're going to be employing local HBCU students to teach an after-school program called the Black History Project. If you want to help me, what I need is donations. I can do everything from there. What I'm doing right now is out of my pockets, and a little bit of donations that I do get, I really do appreciate, but I could use more. In the meantime, yeah, give me a follow. I teach black history. Subscribe to my YouTube and all that good stuff. Just tap the link in my bio. All of it is in the link in my bio. but let's get back into it. Monet, Missouri, and Linton, Louisiana. This was a series, I call it an era, of just violence against black people between 1894 and 1896. We all know Oscarville, which is now known as Lake Lanier, but Forsyth County in general had a lot of black thriving communities that was unfortunately ruined by racist white people. Ocoee, Florida, Corbin, Kentucky, Blandford, Indiana was another one, and that was actually a KKK-led expulsion of all black people. In 1954, Vienna, Illinois, that was when all the white residents burned all the black residents' homes and businesses. Mind you, I'm saying 1954. Now, of course, I'm not mentioning all of them. I'm mentioning a lot of them that I want you to look into because we only really hear about Tulsa, and there were so many different other Tulsas, even around Tulsa. I told you there was 50 black cities, black communities, thriving communities around Tulsa that we don't even know about. And then so many over the, like all over the country, right, over the course of time. And the massacres and the expulsions that I just mentioned, it ranged from the early 1800s to, like I said, the 1960s, 1950s. So yeah, I just want everybody to know that. It wasn't like we got our freedom and we didn't do anything about it. We got our freedom and we used the hell out of it. We created our own establishment. We had our own cities. We had our own communities. We were doing perfectly fine without others. And as soon as others came in, it wasn't in a sense of trying to help. It was, we gotta ruin this because you guys are doing way too good and this was not our intentions.
Birmingham destroyed Tuxedo Junction, where Duke Ellington performed, then named a street after it like we're supposed to be grateful for the insult. 30 black-owned jazz clubs demolished in 1970 for a highway interchange. The exact same year, they declared white neighborhoods historic and protected them forever. Duke Ellington literally wrote a song about this place. Count Basie played here, but Birmingham turned the Jazz Musicians Union building into a parking deck. They didn't just destroy buildings, they destroyed the only place black people could perform and make real money in Alabama. White folks come to Birmingham now talking about jazz heritage, while driving over the graves of the actual jazz scene. The city made millions selling that land to developers who knew exactly what they were erasing. Today there's a Tuxedo Junction street sign like that fixes cultural genocide. Your city celebrated black music, then buried the musicians. Name one black jazz club in Birmingham today that's still standing from the good old days. I'll wait.
Stop scrolling. Did you know that in the 1890s, while history books were filled with Confederate myths, black journalists across America fought back fiercely? These trailblazers, featured in newspapers like the Chicago Defender and the Richmond Planet, exposed the truth about slavery in the Civil War, directly challenging the lost cause narrative. By publishing first-hand accounts and investigative reports, they empowered black communities and preserved authentic history. Their bold voices still echo today. Inspired, like, and follow for more untold black history.
Everything that you're saying has some truth to it. It's just the delivery. There's no denying that you're standing for and by your people.
Well, here's the thing. When you're addressing evil, you can't worry about the delivery. When you're looking at the conditions of our community, you can't worry about the evil when you got kids that kill kids and say we smoking on Tuka. See, they wasn't worried about the delivery when these kids in Chicago were talking about smoking on Tuka. Mm-hmm. They weren't worried about the delivery. I ain't got no manners for no slut. I'm gonna put my thumb in her butt. The delivery? I like girls kissing girls where I'm from, and that's on the radio. Girls on girls, that's promoting lesbianism to my daughter as we driving to school. This song they playing with Drake. Y'all worried about the delivery? These niggas talking about killing each other. That nigga Thug said, nigga, I shot at your mama. You don't mention me no more. He really shot that nigga mama. And y'all worried about my delivery? These niggas are confessing to murders on songs. And y'all worried about my delivery? The conditions of black sucking them, talking about booty holes. Y'all worried about my delivery? Come on, don't be hypocrites, black people. Y'all can't listen to this music if y'all so caught up in my delivery. Don't do me like that. And the way y'all snap and pop y'all pussy to this music, the way y'all kill and drill to this music, don't trip about my delivery. Man, listen. So they tell boys, don't hit girls back. I've been whispering in my son ear, go hit her back. Hit her, she hit you, you hit her back. And that's why you got to stay away from males. That's why you got to stay in a woman's place. You got to separate. That's why you don't live with them. That's why you don't live with them. Quiet and don't talk back to a man.
There you go.
Quiet and don't talk back to a man, because all the women before me that I saw gracefully, those were those kind of women. Her grace and her essence of a woman will shut his motherfucking ass up. When the essence of a real woman come around, niggas pull their pants up, say, man, don't do that in front of her. Then it's naturally will be done it, because her presence of a woman, a bitch won't get that response. Arguing back and forth with a man. I would have watched my mama remove herself out of the presence of a disrespectful boy, playing like he a man, wouldn't even responded to him. But a bitch got something to say back. A woman removes herself. It's certain things that a lady ain't go do. And when a lady walk into a room, men straighten up. I swear to God. Boys are misbehaved, but men straighten up.
What if I told you the Bible straight up lies about the missing years of Jesus? Ages 12 to 30 weren't lost at all. Yeah, the Bible goes completely silent on those years, but what if it's not a gap? What if they were hidden? Hold on, because Ethiopia's ancient Bible, one of the oldest in existence, has a shocking claim. This Bible says Jesus didn't just vanish for 2 decades. Nah, he was busy. Busy walking through Ethiopia, teaching, sharing wisdom, and performing miracles. Miracles in Ethiopia. You heard that right. Now, why is this believable? Easy. Jesus went to Egypt as a young boy, and Ethiopia and Israel, they've been connected since the days of King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba.
So who you feel like the black leaders is right now?
It ain't none.
It ain't none?
Nobody's following nobody. We don't have any more leaders, homie. Everybody's afraid to be the leader because the leaders get killed. Every leader get killed. So why you think we ain't got no more leaders? Nigga, don't nobody want to die? Cause guess what? Nigga, when they kill us, we cry for one day, we might ride. We might burn down some buildings, we might burn some cars, but we ain't gonna kill nobody. Nigga, nigga, if somebody hurt me, I want some people to die behind me, my nigga. I want some motherfucker to die if something happened to me. So there's no leaders, my nigga, and I ain't trying to be now. I don't want to be no leader, huh?
Why not?
I don't want to die.
You don't want to die? You like the life you living now?
Nigga, I like air.
Yeah.
But it feel good to breathe. I don't know what it's like to die, nigga, so I don't want to die. Nigga, I love life. And I don't love black people more than I love life. And neither do black people.
Right.
Don't nobody want to die for the people, my nigga. Nobody. She said, well, what about love? I said, we worry about love later. You and I have something in common that we can build together and establish something. We'll learn to love each other later. I ain't motherfuckers looking for love in the beginning. That's why relationship don't last. Because it's almost like a business partnership that we're agreeing to. It ain't love. Because some days I'm gonna wake up and feel like I don't love you. Some days you go look up and feel like you don't love me. That's how we go get to 50 years once we get past them days and years we don't feel like we love each other. That's how our elders done it. Granddaddy was a sorry motherfucker. At some point he grew out of being sorry. And boy, he's sitting over there, he's the best daddy she can be, and she's happy, she's the best grandmother. Put his ass in the ground and she go live and travel the world good. But he was a rotten motherfucker for 20 years out of them 30, out of them 40. You're gonna go through that.
Just make it through. You just got to go through it. You just got the women just got to go through that.
No, women ain't got to go through nothing. We got to go through it together.
Okay.
Because y'all keep trying to separate this. When I get with a woman, this is a we, not a you and you. Mm-hmm. So my flaws as a man is factored in when you pick me. Even if they wouldn't. Once you see them, nobody's remained the same forever. Y'all, this is a woman with no man, though. Yeah. Go talk to them women with a man.
That's right.
Go talk to them women with a man.
That's right.
I saw mothers who were married 40, 50 years. You talking to a woman with no man.
Exactly.
Listen, talk to me outside the book. Talk to me about a woman who been married 30, 40 years and let her tell me about her man, because she can't tell me about our man. Let me tell me about the men that you chose, the men that you had. Don't tell me about the men you didn't have, because you don't know those men. Right? Because if all men were the same, all men will be doing the same. If some nigga beat women, if some nigga won't dare touch a woman. So we're all different. Yeah, we have the same chromosomes, makeup, all that, homie, but our environments, how we raise, supersede all that shit. Because once you develop a conscience, once you learn right from wrong and you got a conscience, homie, I wouldn't give a fuck what turn you on, you wouldn't do it. I wouldn't give a fuck how horny you is, you ain't gonna cheat on your wife. When you develop that, you fight against your nature. You deny yourself. That's where fasting and praying come in at. You develop coping skills. You develop critical thinking skills, conflict skills to supersede your nature. That's where the morality comes in.
Cleopatra wasn't white. Stop the nonsense. They gave you Elizabeth Taylor, but Cleopatra, she was African royalty, not British cosplay. Let's get this straight. Cleopatra ruled from Egypt, spoke Egyptian, and was deeply connected to Nubia. Even ancient historians said she had dark skin and African features. But Hollywood handed her a British accent and bleached the truth. Why? Because they couldn't stomach a brilliant, powerful black woman ruling the ancient world. She wasn't just a queen. She was a political savage, a linguist, and a symbol of black feminine power. But they erased that and gave us Cleopatra in pearls. Nah, we want the real crown back. Melanin included.
The white population is a tiny minority population. It is also a genetic recessive population in terms of skin coloration. And so I looked at racism as behavior that evolved when this minority population that was genetic recessive found itself on a planet in which the vast majority of the people are not only the numerical majority, but they are genetically dominant and could potentially cause white genetic annihilation. If the white population consciously or subconsciously desired to survive genetically, that would require that the white population hold in oppression all of the non-white people on the planet. Black, brown, red, and yellow people. Now, of all of the non-white people, black people have the greatest genetic potential to cause white genetic annihilation.
What this guest said on The Breakfast Club shook America and left the hosts speechless.
A lot of us don't get this, Charlemagne. Do you realize you're the only people in world history who are not even considered people? We had to fight to prove we were human beings before we could fight for freedom. People leave that step out. It wasn't a fight for freedom. It was a fight for humanity, then a fight for freedom, then a fight for equality, and now we at stage 4, a fight for survival. You're the only people who was not allowed to learn by law. You're the only people who are dehumanized by law, okay? And you are the only people who the world benefited from your enslavement and did nothing, absolutely nothing about it, but the entire world benefited from you. So black people don't owe no explanations to nobody. They owe them to us. But before they can be external reparations, there has to be internal reparations, which is what I think y'all hitting at. Yes, we know white America owes us, but you'll never get from the outside until you do from the inside first.
There was a black man that was considered the African multi-genius by the name of Imhotep. Lived 2,000 years before Hippocrates put down his hypocrisy and claimed that he fathered medicine and philosophy. Imhotep was the original doctor. Imhotep was the original architect. He designed the first step pyramid of Saqqara out of his own mind. Imhotep was a master builder. Imhotep was a scholar. He was a scientist. Imhotep was the father of philosophy. So not only did he know how to build outside, but he knew how to build people from the inside. Whenever the white man came with the study of the molecular composition and the atomic origin of all matter and energy, he called it chemistry.
Energy doesn't lie. Wow. Language is primitive. Because see, somebody that talk good to you and trick your mind. That's why I say suspect evil of no one until see it. Once see it, forget it not. For once an enemy could never be a friend. Yes, when they painted you a picture, don't let them paint you another picture.
Kevin Gates.
You could talk good and trick my mind.
Yeah.
Now I'm back believing in you again. But you already showed me that you wasn't my friend, so we reward loyalty with loyalty. And we reward disloyalty with distance. I forgive you, but I ain't about to forget and be naive. That's unintelligent.
I think you'll find, sir, that there will come a time when black people wake up and become intellectually independent enough to think for themselves, as other humans are intellectually independent enough to think for themselves. Then the black man will think like a black man. and he will feel for other black people. And this new thinking and feeling will cause black people to stick together. And then at that point, you'll have a situation where when you attack one black man, you are attacking all black men. And this type of black thinking will cause all black people to stick together. And this type of thinking also will bring an end to the brutality inflicted upon black people by white people. And it is the only thing that will bring an end to it. No federal court, state court, or city court.
Mr. Chairman, and to the Credentials Committee, my name is Mrs. Fannie Lou Hamer, and I live at 626 East Lafayette Street, Rooseville, Mississippi. Sunflower County, the home of Senator James O. Eastland and Senator Stinney. All of this is on account of we want to register to become first-class citizens. And if the Freedom Democratic Party is not seated now, I question America. Is this America, the land of the free and the home of the brave, where we have to sleep with our telephones off of the hook because our lives be threatened daily, because we want to live as decent human beings in America? Thank you.
This system of white supremacy is probably the most destructive form of human interaction on this planet.
White supremacy was built in the foundations of the United States of America as a matter of law.
From its very beginnings, the legal system in this country has propped up white supremacy.
Keeping black people down is built into the law.
We know this country has a history of racist practices.
You have to learn something about your history. What do you learn about your history?
If we are programmed 24/7 to think that we never did anything, that we will act that out.
Our kids are more oftentimes miseducated. Is it the history of you or is it the history of them?
When a white child sits up in the classroom and we sit up in the classroom, that white child has been indoctrinated into a thorough white supremacy order.
It's hard to have injustice without a media system that in some way supports it.
The white population, the Anglo population in the U.S. is probably going to decline about 10%.
One of the basic fears is white genetic annihilation.
And because the country is changing, that's why there's so much fear.
This is the operation of the white man's country faction.
It's learning how to be successful in a system that is designed for you to fail.
Because many of the pathways into the middle and upper class for people are more blocked.
The blocking of upward mobility and the blocking of opportunity.
Blocking a discussion, any in-depth discussion that gets into what is the white responsibility for the behavior activity that we see on the planet. There are consequences to be paid.
What if I told you there was a black regiment in World War I that fought longer than any American unit, but when they came home, they still weren't treated as equals? Watch to the end. This will make you rethink everything you thought you knew about American military history. They called themselves the Harlem Hellfighters, the 369th Infantry Regiment, an all-black unit from New York that went to World War I at a time when white soldiers refused to fight beside them. Denied combat roles under American command, they were assigned to the French army instead, and France welcomed them as equals on the front lines. Once in France, they spent 191 days straight in the trenches, more time in continuous combat than any other American unit in the war. They never lost ground, never had a man captured, and fought through some of the fiercest battles of the Great War. The Germans respected their ferocity and resilience, nicknaming them the Hellfighters, a name they wore with pride on the battlefield. France honored them with its highest military award, the Croix de Guerre, and dozens of soldiers were personally decorated for valor. But when these brave men returned home, America still segregated them. They weren't marched at the front of victory parades. They couldn't sit in the front of trains. Many couldn't eat in certain restaurants without facing discrimination, even while wearing their uniforms. They gave everything for a country that gave them nothing but segregation and hate. Comment, "Hellfighters," if you refuse to let their sacrifice be forgotten. Share this video so more people learn the truth they tried to erase. Follow for the Black history they never taught you.
What if I told you there once was a Bible edited on purpose? Not to teach freedom, but to teach obedience. Stay with me, because this hidden story will change how you see religion and power. In 1807, British missionaries published a special version of the Bible called Parts of the Holy Bible, selected for the use of the Negro slaves, what history now calls the Slave Bible. It wasn't created for salvation, it was created for control. This version didn't just trim a few verses, it cut out about 90% of the Old Testament and half of the New Testament. Gone were stories of liberation, like the Book of Exodus, where God frees enslaved people from bondage. Missing were verses promising equality, where Scripture says there is neither slave nor free. Instead, the pages that remained emphasized obedience and submission to masters, the exact mindset slaveholders wanted. This wasn't accidental editing. It was intentional censorship of hope, justice, and liberation. Missionaries and slaveholders feared rebellion, especially after enslaved people proved they could fight for freedom, like in Haiti's Revolution. Today, only 3 copies of the Slave Bible are known to survive. They stripped away liberation. They rewrote Scripture, not to uplift people, but to keep them obedient. So why didn't they teach us about a Bible edited to control black minds? And is this the first time you're hearing about the Slave Bible? Comment Slave Bible if you want this taught in school. Share this video so this truth can't stay buried. Follow for the Black history they never wanted you to discover. Did you know the largest man-made structure ever built isn't in China? It's in Africa. And no, it's not the pyramids of Giza. Hidden in southern Nigeria lies the Wall of Benin, a marvel so vast it once stretched nearly 10,000 miles, long enough to wrap around the entire United States, with room to spare. Locals called it Edo, or simply the Great Earthworks. Some sections rose over 20 meters high, towering above the treetops and surrounding 25 square miles of land. This wasn't a single wall, but a massive network of moats, ramparts, and fortified earthworks, built entirely by hand using indigenous engineering techniques. Historians estimate it required over 150 million man-hours and nearly 800 years to complete, a feat unmatched anywhere in the world. To put it in perspective, the Great Wall of China took less time to build and used more advanced tools. The Great Wall of Africa wasn't built by slaves or machines. It was built by a people united by purpose, defending one of the most sophisticated kingdoms in history, the Benin Empire. The Bible says Israelites married into Africa. Moses married a Cushite woman. Solomon entertained the Queen of Sheba. Prophets described alliances with Ethiopia. These weren't just encounters, they were marriages, dynasties, children. Israel's bloodline wasn't pure in a European sense. It was connected, mixed, and rooted in Africa. Yet every painting shows pale figures untouched by Africa's influence. That's not history, that's propaganda. From the beginning, Israel and Africa were family, which means maybe the lost tribes were never lost. They were in Africa. European maps from the 1600s label West Africa the Kingdom of Judah, the same coast where millions were enslaved and shipped across the Atlantic. Oral traditions in Nigeria, Ghana, Mali, whole communities claim descent from Israelites, keeping practices that mirror Hebrew law. When the slave trade began, those were the very regions raided. Coincidence? Or prophecy fulfilled? The tribes weren't lost. They were captured, scattered, and renamed. Which is why
black people just get over it. Like, it was a long time ago. Why can't they just move on?
Well, this is sort of precious coming from people who set off fireworks every July 4th, because that's some old
too, right? Like Independence Day, that didn't happen last week, right? We didn't break away from the British last Thursday. That's some old, but we're still celebrating that. So when it's stuff that makes us feel good, we love it. When it's stuff that makes us feel better than others, superior, like we're the greatest people and greatest country ever struck off from the forehead of God Almighty, oh, we'll remember that forever. In the 1700s, white supremacy embedded in the structure of the country at the founding of the country is most definitely implicated in his election, because without the obeisance to the Electoral College, without that compromise, we know he would not be president right now. So that is why we have to think about the past, and that is why the past affects the present.